Welcome. In this video, Don K6ZO will be discussing Dxpeditions, gray line propagations, and how he will be helping orphans in Uganda using amateur radio.
So, what is a Dxpedition? A Dxpedition is a journey to a specific location where amateur radio operators take their equipment, antennas, and they make contact with other amateur radio operators all over the world. We travel to DXCC entities or countries. The ARRL has created a list of DXCC entities. And I think there's 341 countries now, but these aren't all officially countries. Like Hawaii counts as a country. Small little reefs count as countries, but they have to pass certain criteria from the ARRL. Also, the RSGB, the Radio Society of Great Britain, has a award called Islands on the Air, or IOTA. Is anyone familiar with that? Okay. There's over 1,000 islands, and that award has become very popular because people are now going on IOTA Dxpeditions. They aren't necessarily DXCC countries. In fact, there's an island called Mafia Island off the coast of Tanzania, and when I'm in Africa in 2017, I'm going to be going to Mafia Island just because, for the fun of it. And it counts for IOTA. Anyway, this is the ARRL DXCC. If you work and confirm 100 countries, then you can apply for the DXCC award. The Northern California DX Foundation sponsors Dxpeditions. They gave me $5,000 in 1980 to fly to Tromelin Island. I happen to have been in the Indian Ocean, and they gave me $5,000. A friend of mine flew down, and he worked at NBC, and we flew in a charter plane to Tromelin Island from Reunion Island, which is off the coast of Madagascar. The Northern Cal DX Foundation has given up to $25,000 to Dxpeditions. I donate $10 a month to them for the rest of my life, which is not a lot of money, but I support the Northern California DX Foundation. And they are the biggest organization in the world to sponsor Dxpeditions. Dxpeditions today launch websites probably a year or two before they go. This is a copy of a website for the South Sandwich in South Georgia. Dxpeditions today cost up to $500,000 to go. And most of the guys that are going on these trips are retired hams, or hams over 50. And they're having fun, and they're going to exotic islands, they're operating, and the whole world is waiting for them. In fact, one of these trips went to on some island off the coast of New Caledonia. They rented a yacht that held 12 passengers, and you could watch a GPS, I don't know if it was APRS or not, of the boat traveling towards the island. Chesterfield Island is what it was. So with today's technology, you get, it's really neat to see what goes on. They're uploading their logs now from the Dxpedition. I think they're using satellite telephones and uploading their logs to the internet. So you can check to see if they got your call sign right after you work them. Dxpeditions, they raise money from foundations, DX clubs, individuals, and manufacturers. These are some of the manufacturers who are involved in helping Dxpeditions. Tromelin Island in 2014. Did anyone work the Tromelin Island Dxpedition from here? Okay. Well, the government of France, which owns Tromelin Island, made a special postage stamp, And this is the postage stamp, and if you look carefully, you can't see it from there, but it has amateur radio antennas on the postage stamp. And so they were selling that as a way to raise money for their expedition. The IOTA, Islands on the Air. Well, the website is rsgbiota.org. And like I said, this is a fun group. They have all sorts of awards. This is a Dxpedition in the Comoro Islands. This was me in 1980. I was 20, and I went to a fourth world country, the Islamic Republic of the Comores, and I ended up going there 6 times over a period of 14 years. But we got there 2 weeks after the president was assassinated, and we had 500 pounds of ham equipment. And we were detained for about 4 hours because they thought they had to check to see who we were, but we had permission. Dxpeditions, we learn about gray line propagation and long path. This is, if you can get information on sunset and sunrise on the internet. This map changes and updates every 5 minutes. So this line moves. So where it's sunrise at one point of the world and sunset at another, that is a good time to talk to that part of the world. So if I'm over here and I want to talk to someone over here, the best time to do it is at my sunrise and their sunset, or my sunset and their sunrise. That's called gray line propagation. And on Dxpeditions, I've met some fantastic people. I helped Dr. Barnett become a ham radio operator in 1983. He used to live in the Comoro Islands right here. And he used ham radio to communicate with doctors in the United States. This was in 1983. There was no telephone down there, and that was the only means of communication. I went back later to the Comoro Islands, and I brought a tower, and I brought a big antenna, and a kilowatt, and I think I had a Yaesu FT1000 or something, or 1 or something like that. But this was a picture of me in 1990, and I ended up winning the CQ Worldwide contest. I made 3,200 contacts in 48 hours on CW, and I held the world record for several years. We learned how to operate from Dxpeditions. When we learned the DX code of conduct, and we learned to listen. We learned, and the good operators learn how to find, because most Dxpeditions work split frequency. They're transmitting on one frequency and listening on a group of other frequency. So part of the art is learning where to transmit. Where did he work the last guy? And so that's part of the art. And the guys that are good operators and experienced usually have several receivers going. So they're, and sometimes there's a team of guys, that share information. He just worked somebody on 205. Some people use DX spotting networks to get the information. But, learning how to operate. Dxpeditions taught me how to operate, because I was operating as the DX station and I was operating from home. We learned the importance of antennas. This is a picture of Tromelin Island antennas, the last Dxpedition in 2014. They had, I think, 4,000 pounds of equipment that they took with them on a Dxpedition. So today, Dxpeditions are huge operations. I'm heading to Uganda on a Dxpedition, but I'll be there. I've made a commitment for 3 years, so it's more than a Dxpedition. I'm going to be teaching kids electronics and putting up a radio station at an orphanage, and all the children are are HIV positive, and they're blessed because they're living healthy lives, and they are going to universities in Europe and the United States. So I'll be operating from Uganda from 2017 to 2020.
Well, that's it for now. Thank you so much for your interest in our videos. You can find out more about the orphanage in Uganda by looking it up on the web at aidchild.org. And as always, you can look up more information about our club also on the web at marcclub.org.